as your casters for today. I'm Mark, and of course, very excited because we have a special guest caster for today. First time working with him, Y2K.
Y2K, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an honor right now being
Yeah.
in the AOV casting right now. And yeah, we will be casting Korea versus Chinese Taipei.
Yes, so
This is the semifinals already, correct?
yeah, so it's actually great that you're able to join us because it's coming down to the wire.
Mhm.
I mean, a lot of teams. We had like, if I'm not mistaken, around 10 to 12 teams duke it out. Can't quite remember. But yeah, we trimmed it out to 8. We had our quarterfinals yesterday, and man, those fights were pretty intense. Some of them were a tad bit one-sided. Some kind of went head-to-head. But I mean, at the end of the day, the top 4 that we have today, very, very deserving of where they've come. And I think even towards the end of this, people will have very, very high expectations of them once we have the actual Arena Valor World Cup next month.
And I think the champion for this one will be directing to the World Cup.
Yeah, like because basically for what we have here is the boot camp will be what determines the seeding for the actual World Cup. So it's like it's not just okay, we're just boot camping for the sake of it.
Oh yeah.
It's also like they're actually playing for something. They're playing for their fate in a way, whether or not they have a tad bit of an easier time heading into the World Cup or if they really have to fight their way against some of the strongest. So of course you want to have a good impression, not just that, but I mean, sure you want to look at it as you want to go through the challenge of beating every single one, but come on, let's be honest. If you could have a little bit more breathing room, then you want to take every advantage that you can.
Like, it's boot camp.
Yeah.
You're just practicing and proving on your own, and
Yeah.
then it will be stepping stone for the World Cup. And I'm really excited for the World Cup.
Yeah,
right now in
exactly.
AOV.
And by the way, the World Cup, for those of you that want to go, hopefully if you want to treat me and Y2K to tickets, no, just kidding. But it will be happening next month in Los Angeles, so tickets are now available. Be sure to check it out, guys. And by the way, for those of you that buy tickets, there's going to be some awesome Arena Valor freebies as well. So if not tickets, if you don't want your freebies, you could always send it over here as
Send,
well.
send it to us right here, and we'll be happy to.
Yeah, we'll be happy to take it for ourselves. I mean, no, but yeah,
Just kidding.
it's a great opportunity, of course. Hopefully, yeah, if you guys manage to go, be sure to share your photos from social media just so that we can get a glimpse of what's happening, what the actual experience is. Because from what I hear, they really prepared for it. But nonetheless,
Here we go.
we are going in indeed. Once again, as Y2K said, it's going to be Korea versus the Chinese Taipei. Let's go ahead and have a quick review of the bands here so far. So Teamy, Arm, and Lubu, as well as the Siniel, the Flash, and Superman. So pretty much the standard bands from what we've been seeing these past few weeks.
Usual bands like Superman. Superman really initiate-wise.
Yeah.
You can really.
Blue team's turn to pick.
Okay, so we're going to be heading back into the drafting phase right now. So we're going to get a bit of a review on the heroes in a teeny tiny bit. So of course, by the way, sorry about the technical difficulty. We had a bit of a fluctuation in the internet, but we're back in action. So as you can see, drafting is already complete for both sides here.
I'm seeing a Joker and a Tulan. Wow, this is really interesting.
Yeah, so far though. Still that last hover, we're still trying to decide on the kill growth. I mean, because what's the trick? The tricky thing here for Chinese Taipei is that they don't really have a solid front line with this composition. It's mostly damage across the board. If anything, they'd probably want to establish early on control and objectives. And if ever they do need to maneuver around team fights, they'll really need to heavily rely on the utility coming in from the Alice just so that they have a proper set, as opposed to Team Korea, wherein it's a little bit more balanced out. I mean, they have a mage in the form of the Preda, very heavy damage marksman in the form of Joker, and just a tankier frontline in the form of Ta'ara, but doesn't even necessarily need to lead to team fights. Like I mentioned, these compositions are a tad bit more heavier on objective control, at least for Chinese Taipei. Korea, there's a lot more options here.
Like,
can opt for team fights, can opt for objective control.
And I'm seeing here the composition of Korea. They are more on burst-wise. We're seeing Ryoma and the Joker at the same time.
Yeah.
And Sarah will dancing inside, and the rest will go in, and everything goes well in their favor. They will win the series. But I don't think Chinese Taipei will allow that way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, given their composition, if they could shut down Korea earlier on, then that's where it's a very high risk, high reward, this composition that they have. Because if this type of composition falls behind, then their damage is mostly going to be irrelevant unless they could actually turtle their way into the later parts of the game wherein they could build up on items. But if that's not the case, then Korea could just ultimately close out earlier on, given that they could also force a split with the Ta'ara. But at the same time, speaking of splits, same goes for Chinese Taipei when they have the Kilgroth. But meanwhile,
Wins is just poking her Sun, but Sun will back off for now.
yeah, Sun, of course, being a Ta'ara, a little bit more on the tankier side, so not exactly the easiest hero to take down, even at a level 1.
But like meanwhile, Korea is just poking Chinese Taipei here, not really denying the farm, not letting Chinese Taipei denying their early farm.
Yep, and just constant pressure happening so far across the board, particularly in this mid lane. Benny making sure that he has the Liliana covered here. Hack, in the meantime, just wanting to clear out those waves until such time that his burst potential is all the more optimal when he builds up on key items. Because Preta, you know, well, he's constantly painful. It's just that in the earlier phases, you don't have that same burst as you would ideally in the later parts of the game. Like I mentioned, once he scales up, once he builds up on the necessary items, just so that he packs much more of a punch. So until such time he does that, definitely wants to play it a bit more safer, unless there are instances like this wherein they could go for a set, and that's going to be the set right there.
And Benny's being caught right now, but they disengage for a moment, and Rush is running low, and that's a first blood, courtesy of the Chinese Taipei.
Yes, Neil able to land those last few auto attacks, not to mention great placement of his skill to slow down Rush, just so that he could nail as many auto attacks as he can. It looks like he's not done just yet, actually able to get Sun in this bot lane as well.
And being confident that Wins have his side with the Tulin, and then all came to plan, and Abyssal Dragon is also secured by Chinese Taipei. Really quick rotation on that one.
Yeah, really good so far, actually. I'd have to agree with you, Y2K, because these rotations have definitely been very fruitful. Because once you get those pickoffs, ideally, you want to try to make it much more, how do I put it, much more worth it. By after getting a kill, if you could transition it into a major objective, then that's definitely going to help you build up. And it's reflecting in the goal difference right now. 4.8 versus a 6.5 difference. That's actually pretty big, considering we're only 2 minutes 40 seconds into this game.
Like again, Chinese Taipei, as we saw earlier, they tried as much as possible to deny the gold advantage or the farm of Korea, like early invasion or something like that. And also, Chinese Taipei answered back with any possible overextending by Korea. They answered back with the team fight, not really also doing overextending. And yep, now the gold lead is almost 2,000 in their favor.
And so far, so if you're going to notice though, most of the action's been happening in the mid lane, not really as much towards the top side, especially since it is an Omen and Kilgroth matchup. Because Kilgroth is pretty much one of those heroes, you know, ideally you want to get your core item first that grants you that attack speed, that jungle item. And from there on, ideally you want to find those opportunities to siege. But since he's up against an Omen, like I mentioned, Omen is an excellent duelist in the game. And it wouldn't necessarily allow the Kilgroth to get siege as much because Omen would easily be able to deal with him 1v1. So as long as Korea makes sure that they keep that Kilgroth in check, then I think they should be okay. They shouldn't really fear losing out on many turrets.
And now Wins is having trouble right now, and he deals damage back. Sun will run for now, and Korea will back up with that fight. And really good idea that Korea back off, because we have the Jokers really exposed in that specific fight, and the cause of that one, Chinese Taipei will secure the first turret.
Yeah, man, that is going to be a turret plus another take on the Abyssal Dragon. They just have full control of this objective so far. And with full control over this objective makes it all the more trickier for Korea to... They need to basically pick up the pace here, because if they don't match what pace Chinese Taipei is forcing in exchange, then slowly but surely this gold lead is going to continually build in favor of the Chinese Taipei.
And as you said, the fight is happening on the bot, the mid lane, and also the jungle side. The top lane is not really that superstar, or what we call it, being noticed yet.
Yeah.
Because they are letting their respective top laners to farm at the same time to have the early experience advantage, so they can just go inside like a level 8 or something and probably turning things around in their side. But let's see how Korea will answer back.
Yeah, good point there, because at this point it's mostly the Omen and the Kilgroth on the top side just wanting to farm up, build up on items, but meanwhile Wins, oh no.
Being bursted down, but that's not enough. Sun is running low. The two will jump in again, and meanwhile another burst on that one. The Joker has been picked up, and Rash needs to be in trouble right now. Rush, you need to rush out. Double kill already by Neil. Rush, just rush out. That will be another kill for Star, and Chinese Taipei again with consecutive kills.
Yeah, man, unfortunately, Korea was the one that went for the chase under turret. They weren't able to succeed, and if that wasn't bad enough, it granted just enough time for Chinese Taipei to respond with their own number of members and easily turn the tides in their favor. And look at this Lindis right now, 4-0-1. Neil is an absolute beast in this game, and he just comfortably auto-attacks anybody on the KR side. And what's unfortunate for KR is that they don't really have as much of that solid crown control that you ideally would have wanted to keep those type of carries at bay. If anything, they really need to rely on going trade for trade and damage up.
And another one.
Oh,
Sun is
man.
being deleted again. So I'm thinking of the last fight that they overcommit on Wins. They use all the possible abilities that they can land. And then Chinese Taipei answered back with all of the burst damage on their own. That's why they won that fight. And again, Sun is being deleted on that one. 7-0 currently for Chinese Taipei.
Yeah, meanwhile, Rush had to back away there. TPE getting an easy turret in the mid lane. Nothing much that KR could do but sit back and watch their turret just go to oblivion. It looks like TPE want to go for more here.
They really want the turret.
Yeah.
But I think this might be a bad idea right now. But here we go. Uzon is just enjoying on the top lane.
Yep, not given the care in the world. Still, if you notice, it's still the Omen and Kilgroth in their own little world, not really giving a care of what's happening elsewhere across the map. But I think the sad part here is that there's not really much they could do here. Oh no.
Again, Sun is exposed for some reason. I don't know. They don't have any turret at the bot lane right now. And Sun tends to overextend again.
Yeah.
Giving Chinese Taipei another kill.
Yeah, I had no business. Well, okay, you could maybe try to go for a siege to want to help relieve pressure from your side. But the moment, you have to be very particular when it comes to map awareness. The moment you see members of Chinese Taipei, okay, where are they on the map? You should kind of have that second premonition, oh no, they might actually be in chase of me. But finally, we see some action in the top side. Uzon taking down the Omen.
That was quick. I didn't notice that, but the Omen suddenly perished. And then another turret has been secured by Chinese Taipei. So far, they already have, I think, 3 turrets in their favor.
Yeah.
Korea don't have any objectives yet. Again, no objectives yet. I think they have 3 Abyssal Dragons and 3 turrets.
Yeah, and
Probably will get another one.
And I don't know, Korea not even able to get a single objective, not a turret, not an Abyssal. So, okay, let's go ahead and talk about this matchup towards the top side. Because, like we mentioned, Chaser and Uzon had their own little world. And, okay, so TPE taking Darkslayer uncontested. But yeah, as I was saying, I think the reason why Uzon was eventually able to dominate over Chaser in the 1v1 was because, if you're going to notice, the gold difference for one is there's clearly a difference already at 1,000, and it's not just because of the Kilgroth picking off the Omen. At the same time, okay, Sun a little bit far, gonna get assassinated.
Another one from Sun.
Man. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think one of the reasons why Uzon was able to get the advantage as the laning phase went on, the extended laning phase went on towards the top side, is because he's able to shove off the waves onto the Omen, and whenever he pushes the wave, goes straight for whatever camps he can clear in the vicinity. So not only was he getting gold through the waves, but also through camps from
the jungle's hand.
Yeah, exactly.
And, and also the Abyssal kills.
Yeah, that's true.
And that would be, the advantage is skyrocketing right now from Chinese Taipei. And another turret has been destroyed. Again, 10,000 gold advantage for Chinese Taipei right now.
Oh man, look at this. Benny and Neil just comfortably zoning out the members of Team Korea from being able to defend their turret. It's really coming down to the wire here. Look at Uzon as well, going for a split push on this Kilgroth, as Kilgroth usually does.
They're probably having a hard time because I think what's the name, Benny.
Yeah.
They're having a hard time because of Benny's ability for the team, like a team buff or something.
That's actually a good point because we've mostly been paying more attention to Neil, to Uzon, but that Alice for Benny is pretty much the unsung hero in this game. He's actually been the enabler, which is why TPE has had such a smooth transition in controlling all these objectives, getting the pickoffs that they have. Look at this, 0 to 10. Korea hasn't even gotten a kill for themselves yet.
And don't have any objectives as of the moment. They need to really be careful right now if they again overextend. So not really a good option right now to overextend unless they want to pick up someone who is really squishy, who is really like the team player like Benny or Uzon will be the bad idea, to be honest.
Yeah, and meanwhile, looks like TPE trying to force a siege here. Constantly pushing for pressure towards all sides, all lanes rather. But in all fairness to Korea, they're able to mount a solid enough defense, able to clear off those waves before TPE could even get as much of dents onto those high ground turrets. But you have to take note though, because Korea is limited to their base, once the next Darkslayer spawns, then that could be the game changer right there.
And look at that Neil's damage. That's only the damage to the jungle camps. Imagine if in the team fight, especially if all of Korea is walking in incorrectly to the Chinese Taipei.
Yes, and man, look at this Korea. They have to play it so cautiously the way they maneuver across their jungle side because they know that Chinese Taipei could potentially be lingering any one of those brushes, which technically they're not right now. But then again, that just shows how much Korea's respecting, or not just respecting, but fearing the lead that TPE has right now.
And they need, I think the Joker right now is not really excelling. They really need Joker right now on especially the poking side and his ultimate, which is the Laughing Gas, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and it's not just the Joker, but oh no,
that would be a fast turret, and it's just dancing inside. Another kill has been secured by Chinese Taipei.
And looks like they could actually go for the finish here. Man, ironic how Rush was pretty much quote-unquote rushed down by TPE. That was a very, very fast kill. And it's only a matter of time before they go for the score here.
Oh no, Wins might be trouble right now, and that would be game set, Chinese Taipei 1-0.
Yes, 1-0, congratulations. Very, very dominating game. Like we mentioned, Team Korea wasn't even able to rake up at least just one kill. Or objective, yeah. So hopefully, let's go ahead and talk about what happened that game. Like we mentioned, not really much to talk about the top lane towards the earlier parts. But what was really game defining here is that Chinese Taipei was able to get the necessary pickoffs within the first few minutes, propelling Neil, particularly the Lindis, because if you notice, he was just within the earlier minutes already at what, like 401. So by establishing that lead, it just really made KR falter. And it's not just that. If you're going to notice, most of the kills, most of the deaths rather, that Korea suffered went on to the Taara, which is not a bad way to go for TPE, because Taara, if she reached the late game, she would be so tanky and such a pain in the butt to deal with for Korea. But the fact that they were able to shut down early didn't even matter if Tara's naturally a tank, because she wasn't able to build up, wasn't able to build enough beefiness to match the damage output of TPE. Like, didn't even seem like she was a tank. It's like almost she was a sitting duck, and that's ideally something that you don't want, especially since the Tara would ideally be the one frontlining for your high damage dealers like the Preta and Joker.
And also seeing you